that makes a completely different sound. Secret. You can see the sidewall squished down further in the front than the rear. Oh, come on, focus. A lot of weight in that front tire, both of them. Inner wheel weights on the inside of the wheels, and then inner tire weights that fit around the wheels, and this is what's left over. This is a lot thicker. This piece right here is, this hole is not 18 millimeter. I would have to grind that out to fit the wheel. This is really heavy. I think I'm gonna try and do something else with this later. I need one more of these. Yeah. But that's, I cut that off. Same technique. Dremel cut off wheel. This one actually had a tiny little chip in it. It'll focus on it. And that chip helped cut it. Ironically, that little chip on the top helped dig it out. Apologize for that. I had to pause the video. My daughter came in to talk to me about the cat. That little chip notch, it helped dig the brass. It helped cut it faster, believe it or not. I don't know why, but, and that's the first time I've ever cut as much as I just did with one disc, and it did not break. Other than that little chip, nothing broke on it. I have had, in the last few days, I have went through about 7 or 8 of these discs. They've been shattering and blowing across the room in chunks. They're all around my feet on the floor right now, little pieces. Yes, I need to sweep my mess up. I will do that soon. Just cutting all the little pieces that I was making. They were just shattering. Those little discs, I can't stand those, but they, if you don't break them, they cut a thinner line than the bigger, stronger cut-off wheels. And I really like these for certain things, and I like these for certain things. The diamond discs, they work really good, but once that diamond coating, whatever that stuff's actually made out of, because, yeah, diamond dust my ass. Anyway, once that coating is gone, they don't cut worth a crap. It's, all it does is heat up what you're holding on to. And I mean, I use a leather glove when I'm doing this. You can see where I've been holding it, and I tap the glove every once in a while. But I mean, I literally, give me just a second. Okay, I'm back. The pieces that are on the inside of the tires have threads on them because they were a pipe fitting of some sort. I don't remember what it was for, but since they had threads on the inside and I didn't want to remove the weight, my daughter has a lot to say this morning. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So, just real quick, I'm going to show this. I got to get back to Thanksgiving, family stuff. This is how I cut it. My finger is back here. It's not in here. I just screwed the other piece. This is way smaller, so like I said, that hole isn't in there is not 18 millimeters. The hole inside this piece is probably 19 millimeters. and it might be a little smaller than that where the threads are, but it's not a tight fit around the wheel. It's actually loose inside there, barely, but it'll do. It'll work. But that's how I did it. I just kind of put it on the tip of the glove finger and rotated it as I was cutting it, so it doesn't burn my finger, because the brass gets hot as hell. You just rotate it little by little. Run the Dremel through the line that you make. I mark the line first with my little scribing tool pick thing. Laid it on top of my little steel block that I work on. My little, I guess you could say, anvil. And so I was tapping the brass dust off of it. I lay it on this to cool it off every once in a while, so it doesn't burn my fingers. But I mean, leather glove, it's not going to burn you anyway. But yeah, I mean, you can hear the difference so far. I can even raise it up higher. No noise hardly at all. The front, it's a freaking solid thud. And I know it's hitting those brass weights, but the amount of weight in the front of this thing is immense. Let me get this glove off. Do a couple of balance tests again with my fingers and whatnot. With the body on it, it's harder to pick up, so I'll probably take the body off to show this, but I mean, that right there, I'm just holding it by the battery box. All the weight is in the front now. I mean, there's enough weight in the back to keep the back on the ground when it's needed. Well, it's always needed, but anyway. Yeah. Solid. This thing is going to climb like crazy, I hope. I think I'm going to make a board to see how steep it'll climb. I'm going to get a sheet of sandpaper and do that. I'm not sure if I have it. Yeah, I do. Out in the car. Yeah. Getting it. Still haven't made a little skid plate for the knuckles right there. I don't know. Because if I put anything there, it's going to kind of restrict the travel, the articulation. I'm sure there's a way to go from these two screws here all the way under it. But then I've got the risk of it getting caught. You know, things moving across rocks and stuff, things will get caught on the skid plate unless I figure out how to bend it to where it goes in there around the links and up in there, up in here in these gaps without hitting the drive shaft. So I mean, it's probably going to be simple. At first I was thinking about putting the skid plate here and here and just making a little bitty one that goes across there and then fills this in, but that's I don't like the idea of it. After I tried making one, I didn't like it. I actually threw the piece of brass in the garbage can. It just didn't seem right. Didn't fit right, didn't look right, didn't contour right. Just didn't work out. So scrap it, get rid of it. The bash bar for this one that I made, I used the front of the Gammy to make it. The way I made the whole bash bar literally started with the servo mount pieces right here, and the way I made those was right here. They cut off right here. I just folded it over the servo, bent it, cut it, shaped it, drilled the holes, got it all screwed together, and then I cut those little tabs right there and remove those little pieces right there after I soldered it all together. That way I had to solder these pieces to this triangle, upper triangle piece. This is thinner than these right here and this bar. All the rest is the thin solid rod. This is tube. So, alright, that's it for now. I will get these batteries charged ASAP, as soon as possible, and build me a, I guess I don't know what to call it right now, I forget, a little sandpaper on a board, see what kind of angles this thing can climb. I don't have a gauge to test the angles, but we can see an approximate how steep it'll climb. Or I can just take it outside. I'll probably just take it outside and bash it on the rocks and see if it'll climb over those chalky ass white rocks that it has not been getting traction on it. So, but definitely softer on the tires. I still want to get all of them as soft as this one. This is the softest. This one over here is really soft on the outside, but the inside I can still feel is kind of stiff. It's these corners that I got to work down. So this one I can deal with. I like it. So take them off, flip them inside out, and do it again. A little more, but not right now. I'm going to test it with all the weight that I put in there, because it's quite a bit. It's quite significant. So we shall see. Thanks for watching.